David Krapf, Editor-in-Chief of WorkBoat Magazine and WorkBoat.com. We are at the 40th International WorkBoat Show, and I'm speaking with Robert Allan, the Executive Chairman of the Board of Robert Allan Limited in Vancouver. He just finished a presentation on escort tug safety, and we have 3 questions for him today. And the first one is, you've often said that not every tug claiming to be escort rated can perform the required duties safely and effectively. Now, what do you mean by that exactly?
Well, as we said in our presentation, David, the almost any tug can get an escort notation from the Classification Society. What the rating for that classification is a moot point. And it might be a 90-ton bollard pull tug, but its escort rating might only be 25 tons to a safe stability limit. But the problem is that having an escort notation tends to get interpreted as being good for kind of any escort, and the 25 tons gets lost in the shuffle. And so boats are being used that are potentially unsafe in this really demanding service, and that makes us very nervous. We don't want to see people being killed in towing accidents. It's a dangerous activity, and the boats need to be really, really carefully and well designed for the service.
Yeah, so obviously it's 25 tons of bollard pull when they actually would mean 50 or whatever.
Or, typically a 90-ton bollard pull tug should be able to generate something in the order of 120 to maybe even 150 tons of indirect steering force, which is what you want for escort, high steering forces. So if you've got really low steering forces going into an indirect mode of operation where the tug is being pulled sideways, is potentially quite perilous. So we're nervous about that.
And second question. 30 years ago, of course, that was when the world of tug design got turned on its head, and of course that was with the Exxon Valdez, which created Open 90, which invoked tug escorts. So, in a nutshell, what happened after that with the tug community, tug designers? What occurred?
Well, the Act came in and said tankers in sensitive waters must be escorted. But the only frame of reference that the tugboat industry had was what was out there at the time, which was, ship handling tugs, coastal towing tugs, maybe a few deep sea rescue tugs. Nobody really appreciated the physics involved in doing tanker escort work and what was involved in that. So Voith had an inherent advantage with the presence of a big skeg on their standard tractor tug designs. That provided the hydrodynamic force generation capability that you needed. So, they had a huge leg up in that market, and continue to do well in that service. But we had a lot of clients that came to us and said, we can't afford to have kind of a single-purpose Voith-propelled tug in case we lose our escort contract and we have to go do general towing or whatnot. So we did a lot of research into what could we do to make a Z-drive tug generate the same kind of forces. And that required a whole new approach to tugboat hull form development. And we did a lot of research and a lot of model testing and laterally more CFD work, continually sort of refining that. But the problem was, at the outset, we didn't really have a game plan, and people were really, really nervous about using conventional tugs, and rightly nervous about using conventional types of tugs in this indirect service. So, but it didn't take long for the right solutions to emerge, and they're continuing to be refined. We're getting there.
That's good. Well, that brings us to the final question, which is, where is tug design today, and where do you think it is going in the future?
It's in our office, and I expect it's going to stay there for a long time. But no, seriously, I think if we're talking about escort tugs, is it, one of the problems we have is when we talk to operators, even people like pilots and tanker owners and whatnot, and you say, you need a really high performance escort tug. That's a very different animal than even a high performance ship handling tug. It's a totally different hull form, totally different set of underwater appendages and whatnot, and subject to much greater forces in its design. So the stability characteristics are quite different. So it's a horses for courses sort of scenario when you talk about tugboats, because there's lots of different solutions. Where on escort tugs, I think we have solved most of the critical problems. We continue to refine our shapes. What's happening now is that all of the alternative fuel solutions are starting to impact these designs, and we've designed dual fuel, gas and diesel escort tugs. We're playing with escort electric tug designs, and these are driving the design in different ways. You need a much bigger boat to accommodate LNG, for instance, than one would normally have if you just went diesel. So it's evolving. It's a really exciting time. Most of my professional career, a big part of it, was devoted to this whole business of escort tugs, and so we know what those boats' shapes need to look like. Now we're having to modify the size of them to accommodate all these different propulsion options. So yeah, it's exciting. That's where it's going. That's what's going to drive it this next decade at least. So, and
okay, Robert. Well, thank you very much.
We didn't even mention autonomous boats.
Well, we could do a 2-hour interview.
We could do
that.
That's happening.
Oh, yeah.
That is happening.
Well, that's a whole nother subject.
That's another subject.
I think that's tomorrow. We're going to get the autonomous guys. So thanks very much, Robert, from the WorkBoat Show. And that's probably our final interview of the day, but you never know.